Is this thing on? Is this thing on? No? No. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the comedy club. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Whatever. Today we have someone called, shit. What's the guy's name? Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder. He's a Canadian guy. Thinks he's funny. Anyway, please welcome, put your hands together for Steven Crowder of Louder with Crowder. Welcome. Yay.
Time to listen up, you silly liberal fruitcakes.
I came out here, wanted to tell some jokes. Let's do some reality checks here. Do you have any idea, sir, how pathetic it must be to be you? These people wanted to come out and have a good time, hear a few jokes, some thoughtful discussion, but your head pops off the pillow in the morning with, oh, how can I be a professional victim today? Let me go in and screw with their act just because, oh my God, your parents didn't tell you that your opinion wasn't worth that much. Look, they're confused. They're confused. You know why? Because I'm not your gender studies professor who has to cater to your trigger warning, microaggression, safe space bullshit. I didn't want to do this. I wanted to come out and tell a few jokes. You created this monster. We have to go. 10 more minutes of this. Let this reverberate. Let it be a life lesson.
Okay, so immediately funny, but not funny for the reason that he thinks it's funny. More funny that a man throwing around the term fruitcake while maybe matching that description more than anybody I've seen in a while. Roaming around on stage in front of Milo Yiannopoulos and then telling the whole crowd that they're all social justice warrior assholes, but then they're all applauding you and clapping you. Funny, very funny. Very funny. So very funny, good start, very funny. Very funny, but also weird that you're telling the whole crowd that they are social justice warriors, but they're applauding at you almost as if they're not. Sorry, I don't mean to get distracted with like the politics stuff, but you know, here we are.
Do you have any idea, sir, how pathetic it must be to be you? These people wanted to come out and have a good time, hear a few jokes, some thoughtful discussion, but your head pops off the pillow.
I'm actually starting to think that this is a really clever strategy. Come out and like do a bit, like do jokes, but preface it by saying that it's not jokes. You wanted to do jokes, but you got really angry, so this isn't jokes. And then you get the advantage of being able to do jokes, the jokes that you wrote, to the crowd that is going to like them, and they're going to laugh at it. But if someone doesn't laugh at it later on, you can say, well, it wasn't jokes. Yep, no, thank you. Next bit, please. Next bit, Stephen. Thank you for your participation. We'll give you a participation award for that one. Okay, so this is a comedy segment from his Louder with Crowder show, where he sells stuff to scared people and tells them to be scared all the time of people who are different from them.
His name is Toyota, but it's with a D.
That's just the Japanese spelling of Toyota. We add the T. I just was informed by Lane the Brain.
It's not the same. You're thinking of a Toyota. I am a Toyota.
It seems like you were born for this role.
No, you pronounce a Toyota is Toyota.
The accent's not terrible. It's a little samey so far, but not terrible. It's kind of funny.
You're saying the same thing.
No, I Toyota. You say Toyota.
Okay.
Different.
Toyota.
No, the same thing.
Okay, Toyota.
You American have many words, mean many things.
Toyota.
And words have one meaning.
Toyota.
Okay.
But I can ask, by the way, don't forget, go fast, turn left. Okay.
Okay, so still with the accent. All right. Okay.
The Japanese, and I think this is one of those things that is very emblematic of sort of male relationships. Like, we nuked their country, and now we're friends.
It's kind of a weird thing to say. Isn't that kind of a weird thing to say? Seems like kind of a weird thing to say to me. But yeah, the accent, okay, yeah. Not terrible, but it also was, okay. I mean, it was kind of terrible. It was just like a specific old Japanese man from a specific movie he's seen, but okay. There wasn't really much of a punchline there. Okay. Alright, okay. Next one. Next bit. This video is obviously a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but you don't need to worry about accusing me of cherry-picking for examples. It's pretty easy to find examples of Steven Crowder doing, some may say, racist impressions or engaging in stereotypes in ways that some may find distasteful. All you basically really have to do is click on any video that has a person who isn't white in the thumbnail and click around to like the 2/3 way of the video, right when he's sort of running out of steam of upholding the pretense that he's not a racist, and usually he'll start to get a little bit tired and then the accents will start to come out. It's really not that hard to find them, so you know, it's not like I trawled through a really long history. I spent 20 minutes this morning finding clips of his comedy bits to see how funny he is. So let's I mean, so far I'd give him like a 5 out of 10. It's sort of like what like a little kid thinks comedy is, like just doing impressions of people, which can be funny, especially if you're a little kid, but we'll see if there's any Punchlines. That's right, punchlines. We'll see if there's any punchlines at any point.
It's all good. It's all good. I think that we have to understand that underlying everything that's going on is white supremacy.
Correct. Everything.
So if you're not a white supremacist, then we all need to be on the same side.
Well, good. Then we are.
In my mind, I could be wrong. There are more of us that are not white supremacists than there are white supremacists.
Agreed.
God, I hope so.
By the way, that's the only thing the white girl says the entire. She's like, I hope so. Shut up.
Shut up, you filthy white bitch.
Yes. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, sir. No, master. That's what she's saying right there. It's just this woman who's there to be a whipping.
What? What was that? Was that a racist impression of a black person, but foisted onto the voice of a white person? Did we just witness Steven Crowder want to do a racist impression so desperately that he foisted a racist impression onto the white person in the room because he didn't want to like overtly be racist towards the black person? Is that what just happened there? It felt like that's what just happened there. Like there was two black women in the room talking about white supremacy. You threw out that you disagreed, but you didn't provide any context. Obviously, they're talking about like the system that America exists in. Like the context of America is a white supremacist context historically. And then she goes on to say that she doesn't think individual people are white supremacists, or that more individual people are less white supremacists, or more individual people are not white supremacists than those who are. And you disagree with that, but you didn't want to actually like engage with that. So instead you were just like waiting to do a racist impression, but there was no opening. So you just put it on the, I'm confused. Very funny though. Very funny.
Let's be really clear about, no, I agree. Yeah, there are far fewer white supremacists than there are white supremacists because there are like 19 and most of them have flippers. Wait, do you mean the idea that the United States has a culture and has an identity, and yes, that our founders were largely white, that this was created by Western Europeans and we improved upon it? Do you mean that? But we're also the culture, the same God-fearing culture who single-handedly ended slavery across the new.
I don't really want to get into the politics. I'm here for the comedy. I paid my $5 to come to an open mic night to see comedy, but he's putting this politics stuff on me. So if he's going to talk about it, Yes, that's exactly what she's talking about. She specifically, explicitly in that clip said that she's not talking about individual people being white supremacists, and you agreed with her, but then you sort of like bury that under the rug and then put a straw man position on top of her. And then lay out what the actual truth is and treat that like it's silly. So yes, the actual truth of what she's actually talking about is the white supremacist nature of America, in that it was founded by white European people, and those white European people largely had black slaves. You can do all the sort of language games that you want and the mental gymnastics that you want, but you cannot really say that a country that was founded in one type of people being more human than another type of people and being worth more of a human than another type of people, you can't really say that that wasn't founded in a type of white supremacy. You can like disagree to the degree that that still exists and disagree to the extent that that still sort of like, you know, exists in society today in America. But to deny that it exists at all is pretty silly. It's not just as simple as like, it's really not just as simple as this country was founded by white people, is it? Because there were people there before the white people, and the white people brought along non-white people and forced them through slavery to do things without compensation. So it's really not that simple. And the people that are still there in that country today are the descendants of those people. They're not like disconnected. So it's really not that simple. Sorry. Right. Funny. Okay. Yeah. Funny.
World. And I know slavery still exists now, more slaves than ever in recorded history, but that's largely the Middle East, Africa, Asia.
Also, to say that Americans ended slavery is just one, historically wrong, completely inaccurate. America was quite late in the freeing of human beings in terms of history. Also, it ignores the fact that human history is really, really long, and that we've been through waves of like slavery and emancipation, and slaves meaning different kinds of things, and indentured servitude. Like, what the amount of value the elite are allowed to extract out of the not elite has changed and fluctuated throughout history, through wars, through revolutions, through political change, through political action. It's fluctuated throughout history. So to say that America uniquely ended slavery after it was sort of like following a trend of the rest of the world ending slavery is pretty kooky, and I wouldn't trust you with all the weapons that you have around you. Let's just say that. I don't trust this man.
You know, those cultures where they don't have the problem of white supremacy.
It's unbelievable to me. Do you think that she's...
Wait, sorry,
where
what?
they don't have the Middle East, Africa,
No.
Asia, you know, those
Okay.
cultures where they don't have the problem of white supremacy.
Right. They don't have white supremacy because it's not predominantly white population there. Right. So the fact that a white supremacist nation like America controls the entire planet, controls trade over the entire planet, controls like military over the entire planet, has no influence over those exploited peoples. You know, the continent of Africa has absolutely nothing to do with white supremacy. White supremacy, you can't blame the poverty in Africa on white supremacy. Clearly you can't, because white people have never had anything to do with African people. Obviously, America has never put embargoes on any country that's ever tried to be kind of like left-leaning or socialist. Obviously, that hasn't happened. Obviously, America's major export, which has been historically like Hollywood and soft power, obviously the white supremacy that existed in the ecosystem of America didn't propagate out through its soft power through Hollywood, permeating over the entire planet. That didn't happen. Yeah, no, America is completely isolated from the rest of the world. It doesn't influence the... Sorry, I'm really stuck on this point because of how crazy it is. Actually, it's so crazy, it's kind of funny.
It's unbelievable to me. Do you think that she's actually going to go into her district and tell people to take personal responsibility to kind of rise above whatever situation they find themselves in, whether there really is actual oppression or not? I'm not even arguing that, even though I don't believe it. I'm just saying, what is the most helpful thing to do? Oh, no, at the root of everything, underneath it all, but you're poor, you're downtrodden, you can't find a job, you're whatever because of white supremacy. How do you fix that? You can't. It's somebody else's fault.
Of white people?
Exactly, that's my point. But that...
do these people just like live in a binary world where things are either yes or no, like one or the other? For these guys, there's always personal responsibility, personal responsibility, personal responsibility, personal responsibility. She's a politician. 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 Crazy enough, it's actually her job to sort of talk about this stuff and to try to spread awareness and to try to actually enact change. So, like, when you say, like, what can we actually do? What can we actually do if it's a systematic problem? It's like, oh, well, that's her job. Yep. That's what she's doing right now, trying to talk about it, trying to spread awareness, trying to... Obviously, I'm not a huge Jasmine Crocker... Personally, I'm not a huge Jasmine Crocker shit fan. But it's what she's doing here. It's what she's doing. So you can have personal responsibility. You don't need to take every political conversation about subjects that you don't personally like and don't personally want to engage with, and then, minimize them down to personal responsibility. You don't need to do that. Politics exists and personal responsibility exists. Nobody on the entire planet is arguing that just because there are systematic issues that therefore human beings on an individual basis don't have any kind of responsibility over their own outcomes. Obviously, it's a mix of both. Obviously, right? Obviously. I guess that's the trouble with these people. In my experience, it's very difficult for right-wing lunatics to think outside of a binary of yes, no. Gray, they just cannot accept. Gender neutral, they cannot accept anything like that. It really messes with their head. They really cannot accept complex answers to questions. These people think that just because they can frame a question simply, therefore their answer must be simple. I'm all for simple answers, and I'm all for communicating as simply as you can so that as many people understand it as possible. But some questions, especially if you want like an accurate answer, some questions, what would you say, are complicated and have complicated answers. That's it.
It's never going to happen. We've got a lot of guns. What I'm saying is you can't fix that. It's the government's job to come in and kind of make up for this systemic problem now. Right. Is that helpful at all to anybody who lives in your district?
Right.
Is it helpful for the government? Is it helpful? Is it helpful if the government comes in and helps you? Is that helpful to anyone? Does that help your district? You should just tell them to try harder. You should just tell them to try harder.
His son was stabbed in the chest. He's not coming back. And here's the thing. They didn't just say, hey, Carmelo was a kid who made some bad decisions. They said, the Metcalf twins were bullies. They were bullies. They was in a gang. They was jumping him. You've now tried to make this man's son out to be a criminal. So you can defend your son from accusations of being a criminal, even though he is, but this father can't be mad when, in your defense, you tried to vilify his son? You, family, black activists, race baiters, are always wrong. And let me separate the rest of you, black people watching. Let me ask you, do you think they know they're always wrong?
Barbershop proved that. I think you're meeting there.
That was my turning moment.
They can't get past it. They're not capable. It's
Okay. So the families of someone who's involved in a tragic event made a comment on something and defended their son and tried to make a self-defense argument, and that necessitated an accent. That required an accent. Okay. And that required like a... That was... I feel a little unsettled. That was very emotional, Stephen. Why are you so... You're very angry about this. The left are race baiters, but the accents keep coming out of you, and the focus on race keeps coming out of you, but the left are the race baiters. I'm just... And Kyle Rittenhouse is innocent, and Kyle Rittenhouse is a good guy, and Kyle Rittenhouse could have shot as many people as he wanted, and it would have been self-defense because they were lunatic left people, but an incident where one kid killed another kid and there's no room for an argument of self-defense. Okay, there's not even any room for it without it being race baiting, and okay. Alright, no. Okay. Sorry. Guys, I'm just trying to recalibrate where I am and where the world is and what reality is. Okay, so Kyle Rittenhouse, bang, 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 blah, 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 dead, 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 dead. That's cool. But, okay, this story, is it? Oh, right. Sorry. Silly me, the kid's black. That's why. The kid's black. Okay. I don't know why it took me so long to get to that. That's so obvious. That's my fault, Stephen.
Far too many. And by far too many, I mean a lot. Both relatively and absolutely.
By the way, this is really funny. This video is called Pure Evil, and the thumbnail just says Muslims.
Far too many Muslims believe that raping non-Muslim women is acceptable.
Oh.
And I know you're thinking ISIS, Boko Haram, Hamas, right? All these places, because they'll hand it out like in their promotional material. Hey, you get to rape all the non-Muslim women. Like,
that was a lot of text to go fly by pretty quick. Okay, so an example of Muslims doing all the stuff that he said they are and being pure evil here is an article that says women in such areas, so like areas with these, brotherhoods, they say, are harassed out of the public square. Some men call out to them, "Hey baby, give me your number," or "Nice ass," or "What are you doing here?" Whatever their age or appearance. If they're female, and especially if they're alone, they get the same treatment. That's definitely a Muslim exclusive issue. Definitely exclusive an issue to Islam and not an issue that happens everywhere. And some of these other examples are examples of terrorist attacks. And so terrorist attacks are, you can say what you want about them, but they're usually very extremely desperate military action, and often result in war crimes. So I don't know how that sort of transposes onto all of Islam when these are like some of the most desperate, almost, angry, almost, the most zealous people in the world for their religion. I don't think that reflects generally on all. Maybe you have some more evidence, or maybe you just want to flash a whole bunch of text on the screen highlighted where there's keywords and buzzwords that look like they would upset people, because you know that your audience is never, ever, 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 ever going to pause and read this. That's a good propaganda strategy, to just flash up a bunch of information, pretend that it's evidence, and instead it's just like a bunch of cherry-picked examples of sexual violence. Yes, that did happen, but obviously do not correlate to all the Muslim people in the world being pure evil and wanting to R-word people.
In their promotional material, hey, you get to rape all the non-Muslim women you want. But this is also something that we've seen in practice in pretty much every large-scale Islamic community in Europe.
So we've also seen this in practice in the Vietnam War by American troops that were just like going in and like eviscerating everyone and killing children and massacring them and sexually assaulting everyone. And they were all Christians. And they were being told by their Christian leadership and Christian commanders to do that. And you can go actually watch clips of them after the war, and they've come back, and these are people who have done war crimes and, R-worded people and murdered children and stuff. And for the most part, none of them have any remorse. So I guess that's what Christianity commissions. If the most extreme example of Islam is representative of all of Islam, I guess, the Westboro Baptist Church is Christianity, America's war crimes is Christianity, the Crusades is Christianity, where there was just endless war crimes, obviously. I know you guys think the Crusades were cool, whatever, and that you have like this fictionalized version of it, and you guys forget that history was actually like real people and violence occurred to real people, and there was just endless war crimes for, generations. I guess that's Christianity, and the bloodletting and the symbolism of your symbol being to do with torture and you eating the flesh and blood of your... I mean, if you really want to get into religion, we can get into religion, but Christianity starts to sound pretty kooky if you just actually start describing it factually and like step out of its context of we are all in it. Because you're in it and comfortable in it, obviously it feels natural. But if you take one step outside and you're like, oh, the crucifix is a torture device. Your savior is a zombie and you eat his flesh and drink his blood and you're going to go to war with him at the end of... Okay. Pretty intense religion if you actually describe what's actually in it. What's this? What's this one? This is new. This is pretty new.
You know them as the Cartier family.
I don't know them.
The term black fatigue is a term coined, but it just means that not all, but at a certain point, things have gotten worse since the 90s.
I just think the representation of...
Saying not all before you say something racist doesn't make it less racist. Sorry.
Black people in media has completely changed. Now you've got shows like Baddies. A lot of people are influenced by that.
For me, when I really noticed that, I feel like the division was happening was with the Colin Kaepernick stuff.
I feel exactly how you feel, because I remember I wasn't trying to stand up for the flag, and I used to like sit in my room and feel bad about myself because I'm trying to diss the flag, but I really saw people that fought for our freedom.
Name me the last time that white Americans as a community coalesced and supported a murderer who was famous for nothing other than a murder.
Luigi Mangione, Billy the Kid. The very much white MAGA community very much rally behind anybody who murders a civilian if they have any kind of badge. That's an example. Soldiers that come back from Iraq and have killed a bunch of people, that's an example. Not all white people, but a large proportion of white people, anytime somebody stands their ground and murders a brown kid, they celebrate that. Kyle Rittenhouse just went out with the intention of killing people and then he killed people and they celebrated that. Yeah, no, it's really hard to think of any examples. Sorry. You're right, Steven. You're right. And that's very funny. It's very funny and you're right. And you're right and it's funny. And it's okay that you're being racist because there's a bunch of black people around you. Please forgive me for having any comment on this whatsoever. I'm a white Australian person. I have absolutely zero connection with American African culture, American black culture. But these guys are saying that it's for them... It's sort of like gone sour because of all these recent things that are like too edgy or too sexual or like against the grain. Hasn't a large part of black culture always been countercultural and against the grain? Sort of by default, because people of African descent in America are sort of descendant of people who are very oppressed. So by default, their art is going to be against the grain and pushing against conservatism and normal, heterodoxy and all that. Isn't that... wasn't that a lot of the point of like 90s hip hop rap and like all the edgy era of basketball and like all of that stuff and like the blues even? Wasn't it all countercultural? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Could be wrong. These guys probably know more than me. And it's very funny. And this bit was very funny.
There's nothing but cousins up in Buckingham Palace doing it all night long.
That's right. We had to wheel them out of bed and make sure that we fit the tea mug in their flipper hand, right, with 4 fingers. That's the way royalty should look. Not like these whippersnapper spokes, hands and grandkids.
Right. I remember.
Oh, spooks. That's funny. I actually had to look that up because I didn't know what it meant. Turns out it's just like a racist term that you're not really supposed to. I mean, you can use whatever you want, Stephen. But if you want like polite company to want to be around you, you should moderate yourself. This is something we teach little kids. Don't worry about it. It's probably too late.
This many farmers of color, but they did, and 5.2.
Don't shoot! Oh man, don't shoot! Oh my God, I'm scared. Stephen, I understand that you're really insecure about your masculinity. I understand. I think it might be because of some oppressed feelings that you have about males, but that beside the point. You don't need to be, man. Even if you were gay, your masculinity is still fine. You don't need to do all this projection stuff. You're a huge dude. You're a big, hairy dude. Like, you don't need to do all this projection and, like, cigars over here and holsters on my arms. I know that in reality, this is just, like, attention grabbing and you just want, old people to be like, oh, I like that. I'm going to click on that. And people like me, like young lefty people, to be like, oh, that's annoying. That's gross. Why are you doing that, you freak? And comment on it so that, you'll get more attention. I understand that. But also, at the same time, I do think there's an element of true insecurity there. My channel is all about spreading love, positivity, and body positivity. And Stephen, you're fine. You don't need to do all this macho projection. You'd actually come across as a lot more macho if you weren't projecting all the time, ironically.
2 billion are being allocated exclusively for colored farmers. Farmers of color! Roll the tape!
We begin today's show looking at a major...
Yeah, most happy about the new policy, these people. So, yeah. I'm gonna buy a plow, man!
I'm gonna plant that corn.
Go get a John Deere. Barack Obama, mother, I'm the president, I'm plowing that ass.
You.
I thought the last thing they would want to do is be farmers. Wasn't that a...
Man, that accent was very funny, Stephen, very funny indeed. But I really, how could a bunch of people from Africa have ended up as farmers in America, in the breadbasket of America? How could that have possibly happened? It sounds so strange we must make jokes out of it instead of thinking about it for 2 seconds. But no, continue with the racist impressions and stuff like that and just pointing out at black people and laughing. That's very funny. Very funny.
How would you prove this, by the way? Like, how would you prove that you've been discriminated
You don't
against?
I love MAGA people. I don't know if these guys are MAGA. They might be off board with MAGA. But, you know, I love kooky right-wing people. How are they going to do it? How are they going to administer this? How are they going to implement this? The information is always right in front of them. They're always looking at an article. They're always looking at an article with a source where they could just go look at the policy. Policy, I don't even know what they're talking about in this example, so just take this as a general comment on these types of people. Policy and legislation is usually pretty like boring and dry and has a lot of thought put into it before it's introduced. They generally don't like roll out a policy where they're giving people money or they're giving people support or they're giving people tax cuts without some kind of policy and procedure ready to define who to give that to. The information's there. You could just look it up instead of just being like, well, how are these black people going to prove that they got oppressed? They should pull themselves up by their bootstrap. All right, one more comedy bit from Stephen. Let's see what he's got. All right, Stephen, wrap it up.
To make an informed and rational decision. So where do you think that I'm wrong on that?
Stephen, do you know that the Spartans are like practice man love with children?
Oh, geez. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. What did I tell you? He was going to do anything he could to avoid. Oh, there he is. Oh no, Sam Seder. What a fucking nightmare. I had no idea this was going to happen. I thought Ethan was a stand-up guy. This is where we are. Yeah, I told Dave, remember I told you? This is, I guarantee you, he's going to do anything he can.
Oh my God, everybody.
Funniest thing he believes.
Everybody, riddle it.
No, he doesn't. He just takes advantage.
Let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, whatever it is. That's fucking hilarious, man. That's the funniest he's ever been. He was like, did you see how nervous he was before Sam even arrived? This was Ethan pre-Ozempic. This was Ethan before the glow up. I don't even want to say anything positive about Ethan. This is Ethan Klein. And he's already like nervous and shitting himself.
To make an informed and rational decision. So where do you think that I'm wrong on that?
You can hear the nerves. You can hear them. I'm not a body language expert. Blah 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 blah. But like we're all people, right? And we can hear when people are nervous and have nervous energy about them. He's so nervous. He's so nervous. Beautiful. More of this, Stephen. More of this. I know that as soon as Sam appeared, like this gentle, polite old man who just likes to talk about real issues and get to the bottom of things. I know that as soon as he appeared, you like started shitting your pants and you asked your literal dad to come over and take some of the heat. Your literal dad had to come running over so he could take some of the heat, take some of the attention off you while you had a panic attack seemingly and like disappeared from the call for a little while. But that's hilarious. That's beautiful. More of that, please. More of you shitting yourself. It's so funny. And going back to the masculinity macho projection thing from before, the macho projection thing fails so much harder. The fall is so much harder when you are projecting. Like if you come across looking like a little dweeb and you just are a normal guy, people are like, oh, that guy was a little dweeby for a second. But if you like carry around gun holsters all the time and act like you're this big tough macho dude, and then like you're shitting yourself just talking to Ethan Klein, who is Ethan Klein, the macho thing sort of falls apart, but it falls apart from the greater height, the height of your projection. And it falls so hard, and you look so stupid and so moronic, and it's so delicious. And you've built this character. I know you've built this character to make money. I know you've built this character to make money. I know you've built this character to appeal to like rich people, billionaires, conservatives, old people, all that sort of stuff. These people that will pour money into things. I know. But if you want to actually like contribute to culture, if you want to actually go down in history as someone who is relevant, lean into this, man. This image that you've built up of like I'm the Canadian Alex Jones, but like less manly. Watching that crumble, I will do it over and over again. So just put yourself in these situations more. Get out of your comfort zone more. Be nervous more. Panic more. That's funny. All the shit you were doing before was just like angry old man racism that like people aren't actually finding funny. They're just saying like, yeah, I agree, I am also racist, here, and they're like thumbsing up your comments and that sort of stuff. Like at the beginning when the people were laughing, it was more sort of like cheering. Yeah, you can do that. You can keep pandering that way if you want. But if you actually want like a comedy career, and I know you kind of do because you're Canadian and you've been acting your whole life, you're in Arthur, cut to the memes, whatever. But you could make the most out of this persona, man. Make the most out of it. Put yourself out there and just let us all watch you shit yourself. Please, for the love of Christ. Please. For the love of all that is holy and all that is unholy and everything like that. Just please. Alright guys, I'm about done. Thanks for dropping by. Like, comment, subscribe. Mainly comment, I guess. Do all of it, but mainly comment because I want to hear from you. I like talking to the audience. I like hearing what you guys have to say. And I like knowing what you guys want me to do more of so that I can actually, you know, figure out exactly what to do. Because I want people to watch my stuff. Get off my case. Fuck. Alright, this has been me reviewing Steven Crowder's comedy. I think it's comedy. I think it's great. I think he's very funny. He's a very funny guy. He has the potential for a long career in front of him, as long as he doesn't do anything crazy, like abuse his pregnant wife on camera or anything like that. As long as he doesn't do anything like that, I think he's got a long, you know, successful career in front of him. He just needs to get himself into more of these situations where we can watch him crumble and just, you know, enjoy the art of that. Enjoy that. So, thanks, Steven, for doing everything that you do. Thanks for being a racist piece of shit. I hope you go to hell, goddamn you. And thanks for watching. That's it. Anyway, bye-bye.